I've been talking this whole time. Hello, there we go. Uh, hello, everybody, and welcome to our gathering that I am unfortunately not live for today, um, for various reasons. So many things going on. I'm actually not at home. I'm in Atlanta, um, which is fantastic. I love being so technically I am home, but multitasking and all these things, huge thing going on in my life. My sister just graduated college, and we love that. We love that for her, and we love to be here to celebrate with her. So we were at the graduation this past week, and we're able to celebrate with her and enjoy all of the folks that were here and still celebrating and still enjoying it. So just doing that. But I am incredibly happy and elated to be speaking with you this morning, pre-recorded. As you know, I unfortunately had to do this just because I knew I wasn't going to be able to be in person with you. We've got a celebration going on while we would usually be in service. And so I just was like, oh, well, I'll go ahead and pre-record today and then we'll be able to catch up next week. But since we're here and doing all these wonderful things, I do hope that you are also having a fantastic week, that your Saturday is filled with much love and joy, and that you had a prosperous week prior and that you're heading into a prosperous week this week. I don't have I'm not going to share, I would say, a PowerPoint piece because yesterday I had the beautiful, fortunate pleasure of going to hear Jasmine Sullivan and Maxwell in person. And it was probably one of the most joyous occasions of my life. I literally sat down and I told my cousin while we were sitting down, I was like, oh my God, I'm in heaven. Just because the atmosphere and the space and the energy and the creativity and all those things, and y'all know that kind of stuff fills me. So I was full. By the time Jasmine got done, I was like, oh, she was in her second song. I was like, oh my God, this is heaven. This is exactly what I imagined it would be. It's just even better. It was just all amazing. And strangely enough, I mean, it happens like this, but strangely enough, the Spirit of the Lord said, boom, right there, and hit me and said, the authority with which Jasmine and Maxwell performed comes from a spiritual place. And it's a spiritual place of vulnerability that allows for the Spirit to flow and to move in through the person, the vessel that is being used at the time, to communicate a message or to get a certain energy across or to uplift or to do a work, whatever the work is. And I find it so interesting that there has to be a certain type of permission that you have to have, a knowing about yourself that you have to have in order to be able to communicate and to do that type of work for people who will come to be served, or people who are just traditionally blessed by you, or whatever you got going on and whatever your gift is, that God has pretty much kind of given to you. I thought it was so fantastic. After watching them, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then I got home and I started scrolling Instagram because I had posted something, and I was just on Instagram, just being nosy and looking at everybody. And then I realized, I was like, wow. One of the clips that I saw was about someone else. It was on, I think, the Black Effect, that page. And then the conversation was essentially about, I think, this rapper who was talking about how, you miss out on your gifts when you're trying to compare, or when you believe that success looks like someone else's gift. It was so good because it's so true. We are inundated with information by everybody and media outlets and everybody else, right? Like, we have so much stuff coming into our brains and our eyes and our ears and all these things, and we're consuming so much information that we're not particularly taking the time, or required to take the time, to do enough self-reflection to know ourselves in the spaces that we walk and occupy, while we are being clouded with so much information about everybody else, right? I saw another post on social media the other day that said, social media will have you thinking that everybody is having an amazing day except you, all the time. When in reality, everybody's, Twitch, right? Like that whole scenario is like, you are the DJ for Ellen DeGeneres, and there is no way you can be sad, right? Like that's the assumption that everybody makes, because you see him on TV, you see him laughing, you see him dancing, you see him doing whatever, and he's got this following, and people are like, there's no way you can be sad. Absolutely not. Right. That's not the case at all. Right. You can save face and, perform and pretend that you have it going and you have it all together, for the show and for the camera, for the lights, and because you're getting paid. But when you go home, how do you feel? Right. And that's the kind of, we're talking about some of the same things. And I'm thinking about this. I literally wrote one thing down. And this is an old quote from like even Marianne Williamson, who wrote Our Deepest Fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. And at the end, I think her last line is, we unconsciously give, and as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously let others, or give others permission to do the same. And I wrote something similar here. When you own the permission to be who you are, you give others permission to be who they are. And I think that's just something that we should consider as we move into the new year, to own your permission and give yourself the permission, so much so that it validates and it ignites the fire that is in other people to be who they are, so that they can go on and do what they're called to do and be who they're called to be and serve who they're called to serve. Not in the same ways that you are, right? Like the permission to be great is not in comparison or not required to look like anybody else's. And that's scary, because sometimes you want to look like other people. You want to shape what your world is around what other people have. You want to, when you see a car, you see that car because it's somebody else's car. It's like, oh, I want that car. You see that house, and I'm talking material, but like even gifts. When you hear someone sing, it's like, oh, I want to sing like that. Or you're a filmmaker, or you're a writer, or you're an intellectual, or you're a scholar, or you're a professional, sports person, right? Like whatever it is, you pattern yourself after someone else's success, but don't allow that to stifle your own growth and your ownership of your own permission to be who you are and called to do what you're called to do. It's very tricky and very easy to get stuck, right? And we all do it. We are all right, like responsible. So I'm wishing you all well today. Wishing everybody well. I'm wishing you a fantastic Saturday. I want you to enjoy your Saturday. I want you to enjoy your weekend. I want you to go into the weekend knowing who you are, knowing what you are, knowing what you bring, knowing your permissions, right? Allowing your permissions to speak to you and to lead you and guide you and to bless you. Allowing God to also do the same, to lead you and guide you and bless you and restore you and heal you and lift you. I'm praying for you that you will step boldly into your power, into your ability, into the authority that is placed on your life. In Jesus' name, that you will know full well the permissions that you have been given by God in the Spirit to do the work that you're called to do. And that you remember God. Remember God, and remember who God is in your life. Remember God, remember who God is in your life, and remember what you're called to do with God. And don't ever doubt that. Don't doubt your calling. Be fully aware of your permissions. Fully aware of your gifts, your callings, your talents, your abilities. Step boldly in that. I'm praying for you in Jesus' name, that you will rise to the occasion and slay the giant. With great power, great strength, great tenacity. Yes, God. Praying for you, family. My sister is calling me. Clearly, I'm in trouble. But as I said, thank you all so much. Love you so much. And We will catch up with you soon. God's blessings to you. Peace.